When he truly loves you, he cannot let go. Carl Jung Psychology. When a man truly loves you, he cannot let go. Not because he is weak, not because he lacks the capacity to move on, but because something in him, something deeper than decision, something older than pride, refuses to release what it recognizes as real. You feel this. You have felt it even through the silence, even through the distance he placed between you and him, even on the days you told yourself it was finished, that what existed between you was over. Something in you quietly refused to believe it. That refusal was not weakness. That refusal was recognition. Your soul recognizing something your mind has been trying to explain away, that what exists between you and this man is not ordinary, that it did not form by accident, that it cannot be dissolved simply because fear stepped in front of it. Carl Jung spent his life studying the invisible architecture of human connection, the forces that operate beneath the surface of what we can see, the psychological and spiritual threads that bind two people together in ways that neither logic nor distance can fully sever. What he discovered will permanently change how you understand what this man feels for you, and why, even now, even in the silence, he cannot let you go. If this is already moving something inside you, subscribe to Carl Jung Psychology right now and turn on notifications. Because what you are about to hear does not just explain the hidden language of a man who truly loves you. It will permanently change how you see yourself. There is a kind of love that a man can walk away from, and there is a kind that he cannot. The difference is not in the intensity of the feeling. The difference is in the depth of the recognition. Carl Jung understood that when two people make genuine psychological contact, when one person truly reaches something in the other that usually goes untouched, what forms between them is not simply an emotion. It is a bond that operates at a level of the psyche that is far beneath the reach of conscious decision. Jung called this the collective unconscious, the deepest layer of the human mind, not the personal memories, not the individual experiences, but the ancient, shared universal layer of the psyche that every human being carries from birth. And at this level, at the level where true recognition occurs, love does not feel like a choice. It feels like a homecoming, like finding something you did not know you had lost, like a frequency you have been searching for, finally, unmistakably, finding its match. When a man experiences this with a woman, when something in him recognizes her at this deep, unconscious level, something is set in motion that he cannot simply choose to stop. He may try. He may create distance. He may tell himself he has moved on. He may construct every reason the rational mind requires to justify the space between you. But in the quiet moments, in the hours when the noise of daily life falls away, something returns. Your presence, the specific feeling of being near you, the particular quality of being seen by you in a way that nothing else has replicated. This is not sentiment. This is not nostalgia. This is the unconscious doing what Jung said the unconscious always does. Returning persistently, patiently, without mercy, to what it has recognized as real, and what it has recognized in you, in the particular way you touch something in him that nothing else ever reached, will not release simply because he decided to walk away. It does not work that way. Real love does not work that way. There is something that connects the two of you right now, something invisible, something that does not require his acknowledgement to remain real, something that persists through the silence, through the distance, through every day that has passed between the last time you were truly together and this moment. Jung called this the projection of the anima. Every man carries within his unconscious an image, a psychological figure of the feminine, built from his earliest experiences of love, from every woman who reached something in him that he could not reach in himself, from the ancient, collective, universal feminine that appears in every mythology, every culture, every spiritual tradition in human history, This inner figure is not chosen, it is formed, and it is constantly, quietly, searching for a face in the world that matches its image. When it finds that face, when it finds you, the recognition is instantaneous, and it is overwhelming in a way that ordinary attraction is not. Because what he is responding to is not only you, he is responding to the deepest image of the feminine that his unconscious carries. And you matched it. You matched it so precisely, so completely, that the projection that formed around you cannot simply be withdrawn because he made a decision to create distance. It does not work that way. The invisible thread remains. It does not fade with time. It does not weaken with distance. It persists quietly, specifically, in the particular way that only a genuine, unconscious bond can persist. You feel it. You have felt it even on the days you told yourself you no longer did. In the moments when something ordinary carried his frequency without warning. A song, a word someone used, a particular quality of light in a particular moment, and everything stopped. And for one unguarded moment, the thread became visible. That is not imagination. That is not longing inventing what is not there. That is the unconscious communicating what the conscious mind has been trying to deny. The connection is alive. It is more alive than either of you has been willing to fully acknowledge. Drop 1111 in the comments right now. In the language of depth psychology and across many spiritual traditions, 1111 marks the moment two separate energies begin moving toward alignment. If you feel that alignment beginning within you right now, let the universe know. He is thinking about you right now. Not in a passing way, not in the soft, distant way that fades when something else arrives. In the specific, intimate, unavoidable way that only one kind of bond produces. He thinks about you in the morning, before the day has fully begun, in the first moments when the mind has not yet constructed its defenses. You are there. He thinks about you in the afternoon, when something happens that he wants to tell someone, and before the thought is fully formed, it is already reaching for you. He thinks about you at night, hardest at night, when everything goes quiet and there is nothing left between him and what is true. He has tried to redirect this. He has filled the hours with movement and noise and everything that is not the truth. And in the moments when the noise finally stops, you are still there, unchanged, as present as the moment the connection first formed. This is not obsession. This is not confusion. This is what Jung understood about the way the unconscious holds what it has genuinely recognized. It does not let go simply because the conscious mind decides to move on. It holds. It keeps. It returns again and again to what it knows is real. He may appear fine. He may present to the world as someone who has moved forward. But in the interior, in the private architecture of his inner life, something is still reaching toward you, still carrying the weight of what was recognized between you, still unable to place you in the category of things that can simply be released, because you do not belong in that category. You never did. Jung wrote that what the unconscious has truly recognized at the level of deep psychological contact is not subject to the ordinary mechanisms of forgetting. It is stored differently, at a depth where time does not erode the way it erodes surface memories, where distance does not diminish the way it diminishes ordinary feeling, where the image remains specific, vivid, as present as the moment it was formed, regardless of what the conscious mind has decided about moving on. He carries you at that depth, whether he is ready to acknowledge it or not. The question that lives in you, quietly, sometimes loudly, is why? If what existed between you was real, if the connection was genuine, if the recognition was as profound as it felt, why did he pull away? Carl Jung understood this with a precision that most people never receive. He understood that for certain men who carry significant unhealed wounds, genuine love is not experienced as safety. it is experienced as threat, not because you threatened him, but because what he felt for you threatened something in him that he has been protecting for a long time. His control over his own inner world, his ability to keep the deepest parts of himself safely behind walls that nothing has ever been able to fully penetrate. You penetrated them, not deliberately, not strategically, simply by being who you are, by seeing him the way you see him, by making contact with parts of him that even he does not fully acknowledge. And that contact, that depth of being seen, is the most frightening thing a person with unhealed wounds can experience. Because being seen that deeply means being vulnerable in a way that cannot be controlled. It means the possibility of loss at a depth that ordinary loss does not reach. And so he retreated, not because he stopped feeling, but because he felt too much. Jung identified this as the shadow at work. The shadow, the unconscious repository of everything a person has never been able to face in themselves, creates a specific kind of fear in the presence of genuine love. The fear of exposure, the fear of being known completely and found insufficient, the fear of loving at a depth that would make the potential loss catastrophic. And so the shadow constructed the walls, and the walls created the distance, and the distance created the silence that you have been living with. But understand this, the walls are not evidence that the love is absent. The walls are evidence that the love is present at a depth he does not yet know how to hold. A man does not build walls against what does not reach him. He only builds walls against what reaches him too deeply. There are signs that persist through the silence, signs that exist in the space between what he says and what is true, signs that the connection is alive, working, present, regardless of what either of you has been telling yourself about where things stand. The first sign is the way ordinary things carry your frequency, a song he hears without choosing, a place that holds the memory of being with you, a word someone uses in a conversation that has nothing to do with you, that carries everything that is you inside it. In those moments, every wall comes down, and for one unguarded instant, the full weight of what he feels arrives without permission. This is not random. This is the unconscious, using the language that Jung said it always uses when the conscious mind has built walls against the truth, the language of symbol, of unexpected association, of the ordinary thing that suddenly carries extraordinary weight. The second sign is the dreams. He dreams of you, not always dramatic dreams, often ordinary ones. You somewhere familiar, you saying something simple he cannot quite remember when he wakes. But the feeling remains, the specific feeling of being near you, of everything being effortless, of being completely known. He wakes from those dreams and for 3 seconds, he forgets. For 3 seconds, the distance does not exist. Then reality returns. And in the contrast between those 3 seconds and what returns with the fourth, the full weight of what he has been carrying becomes briefly, completely visible to him. The soul does not dream of what it has released. The soul only dreams of what it still holds. The third sign is the way he cannot fully replace what existed between you. He may have tried. He may have moved toward other connections, other distractions, other ways of filling the particular space that you left. Nothing fills it, not because nothing else is available, but because the space you left was not ordinary. It was formed by the specific quality of contact that existed between you. And that specific quality cannot be replicated by something general. It can only be matched by the original, which means every attempt to replace what was lost only confirms more deeply, more specifically, more undeniably what was lost. Type 777 in the comments right now. In the language of depth psychology and across spiritual traditions, 777 represents complete alignment, the moment when inner truth and outer reality begin to move in the same direction. If you feel that alignment beginning within you, drop 777 and watch how many souls in this community are standing exactly where you are standing. The universe is not finished with this connection. That is not a comfortable thing to say in a way that sounds like empty reassurance. It is a precise psychological and spiritual observation, grounded in everything Carl Jung understood about the nature of genuine human bonds. Jung believed that the most significant connections of a human life are not accidental. They do not form randomly. They form between people who carry something for each other, something that cannot be received from anyone else, something that the psyche has been organized around encountering. When two people meet at that depth, when the recognition is real, when the bond that forms is genuine, the universe does not simply allow it to dissolve because one person became afraid. It keeps working, quietly, beneath the surface of everything both people are conscious of, in his dreams, in the ordinary moments that carry your frequency without warning, in the growing sense that he cannot fully explain or dismiss, that something essential is absent from his life, that nothing else can restore. This is not fate in the passive sense. This is the psyche, the deepest layer of the human mind, doing what Jung said it always does when something genuinely significant has been left unresolved, pressing forward, moving toward resolution, bringing to consciousness, slowly, persistently, against every resistance, what has been suppressed, what has been denied, what has been buried under the walls he constructed against the depth of what he felt for you. And place your hands over your heart right now. Feel the warmth beneath your palms. That warmth is real. That warmth is the same frequency he carries when something reminds him of you. When the wall comes down, when the truth arrives before he can stop it. You are connected, not in the way that can be severed by decision, in the way that persists, quietly, specifically, at the depth where the unconscious holds what it has genuinely recognized as its own. There is something you must understand before this ends, something most people never receive, and they spend years in confusion because no one ever said it clearly. When a man truly loves you, he cannot let go, not because he has no capacity to move on, but because what exists between you has been recognized at a level of his psyche that does not respond to conscious decision. The distance he created was not evidence that the love was absent. It was evidence that the love was present at a depth he did not yet know how to hold. The silence was not indifference. It was the sound of someone overwhelmed by the weight of what they feel, and not yet equipped to carry it openly. And the universe, the same force that brought you together, is working on him. In the quiet, in the dreams, in the ordinary moments that arrive without warning and bring the full weight of what was recognized between you. It will not stop. What the soul has genuinely recognized, it does not release. What was real between you remains real. And your role in this period of waiting, in this season of distance and silence, is not to chase, not to force, not to demand that the timeline move at a pace that your fear can manage. Your role is to trust what you know, to trust the recognition that lives in you, the one that persists even on the days you try to silence it. To trust that what is real, what was genuinely formed between two people at the depth of the unconscious, does not dissolve simply because one person became afraid of its weight. Carl Jung wrote that the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And part of becoming who you truly are in this specific season is learning to stand in the truth of what you know without requiring external confirmation to make it feel real. You know what existed between you. You know what was real. You know, in the quiet where the noise cannot reach, that this connection is not finished. Trust that knowing. It does not lie. When he is ready, when the universe has completed the work it is doing in him, when the walls have been dismantled by the persistent quiet pressure of what he cannot release, he will return to what he could not let go of. Not from desperation, not from loneliness, but from the place that Jung described as the completion of the inner journey, the place where a person finally stops running from what they know is true and turns to face it. He is moving toward that place. The universe is guiding him there. And when he arrives, what he finds will be the same thing it always was. You, real, present, exactly as you always were, exactly as he always knew you were, even when he was too afraid to stay. Before you leave this space today, take one deep breath. Place your hands over your heart. Feel what is living there. Not the fear, not the doubt, not the questions that have no answers yet. What is living beneath all of that? The knowing. The quiet, persistent, unshakable knowing that what exists between you and this man is not ordinary. That it did not form by accident. That it cannot be dissolved simply because fear stepped in front of it. That the universe which brought you together is not finished with what it began. You are connected. You are remembered. You are held in him at a depth that no decision can reach. And the love that is real between you is moving toward its completion in the precise, perfect as inevitable way that only genuine soul recognition can move. Trust it. It knows the way. If this message found you at the moment you needed it, leave one word in the comments below. One word that describes what you felt while watching this. Your words carry energy, and when this community speaks together, something real shifts. Subscribe to Carl Jung Psychology and turn on every notification, because what comes next goes even deeper into the hidden language of love, the unconscious, and the psychological forces that keep two people bound to each other across every distance the world can place between them. The journey is waiting for you. Trust, release, and know you are never alone in this.